Alright folks, many days have passed, but we are back on our wrecker. Yep, we finally got our clutch in, and my help is already working on getting everything out of the way. We got a fan shroud. You're gonna have to take your fan shroud out of the way, and then there's a bracket up there over the fan shroud. I recommend you take it off, and of course take your belt off. And then there's gonna be some hardware. Yep, about there. Sorry if it don't look good, you know, it's hard to reach. You're gonna have to take your fan off, or at least I would, and then unbolt the clutch fan from the block. So with that said, we're gonna get the clutch fan unbolted from the, or get the fan unbolted from the clutch, and then we'll unbolt it from the block. So see you soon. All right, so we're making short work of this, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you this outside the truck because I think it'll probably make more sense. So you got your big fan on here, okay? So your options are to take your studs out, the nuts off of it, but in our case the studs came out too. And then you'll pull your fan, okay? Now you could possibly undo this and probably pull this whole apparatus right off of your mounting plate, but that is not, however, what my helper has chose to do. Nope, he's chose to manhandle it and just unbolt it all and, well, go for the gusto. I don't recommend you try that, but if you want to, post down below how that went for you. All right, folks, we're gonna get the old one out of the way. All right, everybody, so after you get your four bolts off, that's what you're gonna be left with after you manhandle that heavy sucker out of your way. So with that said, your new one doesn't come with a 45 on it, so you'll need to take your 45, if that's the way yours is set up, off and put it on. And you're also gonna need to take your studs out of your other one and put them on this one. Do you know how to take studs off yet? Well, let me teach you, okay? It's not a hard process. You're just gonna have to take a couple of nuts. You should still have those, right? So, they're way up there. I'm gonna let my help, which is much younger and more able, climb up there and rescue me 2 nuts, and then I'm gonna teach you a little something. All right, now I have showed this in other videos, but I'm gonna go ahead and show it again. Whenever you take your clutch fan off, most likely you are not going to have studs in your new one. It's not going to come with hardware, so you're going to take the old ones out. What you're going to do is take your 2 nuts, okay? And this will work for anything that's got studs, by the way, not just this. But you're going to put your 2 studs on, right? Just like that. You're going to take your 2 wrenches. You know what? I better not put it down like that at the bottom, because sure as I do, I'll catch them. But lock them together, just like that. Now you turn your bottom one, okay? Just like that. See? And out it comes. Just like that. And now you're gonna rinse and repeat, what, however many more times. So that's how you go about it, y'all. All right, so we've got our fitting on, faced in the correct orientation. We've got our studs screwed down, screwed in lightly. You don't have to torque them yet, because whenever you put your fan on and put your nuts on, it'll torque all at once. So I guess that means that, well, the next step is the worst step. That's getting up there and manhandling this bad boy back into space. So I guess we will show you after we get it in there. Because I don't really see a good spot up there to mount the camera for you to see the time lapse. So, yep, we'll see you soon. Alright folks, so we got the old big cow running. That fan does spin up whenever it gets time. And I believe we verified that manual gauge is bad, but we're gonna test it and see if it's the gauge or that sending unit right there where my fingers are pointing. So that wire right there runs down to that. I suspect that sending unit is false reporting, or the gauge up in the dash. But the gauge in the dash shows 120 degrees before you even crank the truck. So with that said, I don't think the gauge is reporting correctly. But we left this thing running for quite some time. There's no smell of heat or, you know, any signs that it's running warm at all. As you can hear it, it sounds fantastic. So we noticed as we was coming down the hill from where we were working, while this thing ran, we heard something kind of sounded like a fan. Sure enough, we got back and the fan's spinning. So I'm just kind of hanging out and waiting on it to see if I can show you that it spins. This thing has a big capacity thermally, so, you know, they made them to where they could run in the desert for days on end without ever shutting them off. So just sitting here in the Texas heat, even though it's October, but it's still second summer. If you're from Texas, you know what I mean by second summer. If not, comment down below and I'll fill you in. But right now I'm just waiting to see if that fan will go ahead and spin up again, so I can show you, and so I can, you know, see it for myself. Couldn't have scripted that any better, folks. So with that said, I think we're just gonna have to, what we'll do, I'm not gonna bore you with it, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a digital multimeter, okay, and we're gonna find out what the ohmage resistance should be on our temperature sending unit. And once we can correspond what that voltage or that ohmage should be, then we'll be able to also take at that point and deduce that it's the gauge. It's either the sending unit or the gauge, but considering the gauge already shows 120 degrees before you've even cranked the truck, I bet that's where it's at. So with that said, I guess we're all done with our 5-ton big rig record. So Don't forget to click that like, the subscribe button, and maybe the share button. And well, I guess we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, y'all.